My name is Ken Lauro. I'm Delta Airlines. Been working here for 37 and a half years. 10 to 12 years ago, I had the opportunity to work with Dave Brown and his team from ASD Aerospace Software Development. And so I'm just recently become, if you will, a customer of Descartes. In 2013, I believe it was, began our process of tagging our aircraft wheels. And if anybody's ever heard of Snowmageddon in Atlanta, that was the day that it shut down Atlanta, and Dave and I were freezing to death in the middle of a concourse underneath. There was no sunshine, freezing tagging wheels. And we turned around and we realized we were now locked in, snowed in, and that began the journey of ASDs. And then they'll come back with a product and said, yep, here you go, what do you think of this? And it's like, that's exactly what I wanted. And so that's our partnership, that's where we've been. And so it's been a long time and a lot of different things that we've done at Delta Airlines since that time. We started with the wheels in the logistics side of the house, and that was kind of a self-serving but very easy one to do. Like, we need to track parts. It ties into the tool system, knowing where all these parts are, the circuit breaker collars, and then if you lose one, you're able to use RFID to try to locate where that thing's at. And so that's lockout, tagout. Kanban, our expendable material, it matters that you have a big $200,000 computer and you have it and you know where it's at. That's great. But a 50-cent washer could also cause an aircraft to be delayed. Every part is critical to the operation of an airplane. If you don't have that 50-cent washer, that matters also, and that could shut down that delay or cause a delay. And so Kanban, it's a bin flag. It allows you to flip a flag and it says, hey, I need to order these parts. In the past, you'd have to go around, you'd write it on a piece of paper saying, I'm out of this, I'm out of this, I'm out of this, and then go order it. And then it got a little more upgraded where they use a barcode scan. I need this, this, this. But if there wasn't a human to do these barcode scans, then you were without parts for a long time. Now using RFID, we're going to do it where you can flip a flag, it sends up a signal or it just turns it orange and it says, okay, I need to order these parts. You can walk that room in 30 seconds to 2 minutes depending on the size of that area, and it's going to automatically order the parts and get those parts back into the pipeline and get them on site a lot faster. We also have composite material that is regulated, that compliance matters a lot, right? So when you talk emergency equipment, it's not about just knowing that you have a life vest. It's knowing you have a life vest that's supposed to be compliant, that it's within the regs and the expiration date. The oxygen generators, in a time of an emergency when you are at an elevation where you need an oxygen mask, when that oxygen mask deploys, you want to know the oxygen generator is going to create oxygen. And so there's an expiration date on these oxygen generators. And so compliance and safety will be the theme that continues to happen and why we do things that we do with RFID. Speaking of composite material, when we do repairs on an aircraft, you have to use a certain material. The material is very expensive and it has to stay in a freezer, and it stays in a freezer for a long period of time. When it's out of the freezer, to thaw out so that you could cut a piece off of it to make a repair on a wing or on a rudder, whatever you're making a repair on, it can only be out and thawed a certain amount of time. And so it's a very manual process to say, I've taken this roll out, I've manually put it over here and I know I'm tracking it, and then I put it back in the freezer. Well, you forgot to update when you put it back in the freezer. And so being very conservative and safe, if we're not sure of the time frame, we'll destroy that roll of composite material and we'll order another one. There's a lead time that goes with that, and there's also the amount of the money that is spent on the composite. So now with this product that we're using, and again, AeroTrack, it allows us to track as soon as it comes into the room. Within a 2-minute time frame, it starts tracking the time out, and as soon as it goes back into the freezer, within 2 minutes, it tracks the time out. And it says, I'm back in the freezer. And so this saves us a lot of money. It makes sure the material that we're using on board our aircraft is safe and it's compliant again. And so these are some of the use cases that we're using with AeroTrack. And so that matters for us, is that we work together as a partnership. We have a very good community in the RFID space around ASD's product, Descartes product now of RFID, and it's the shared knowledge that we have amongst our teams that works so well for us in this team. And so just some of the use cases. The future, there's so many opportunities ahead of us, whether it's engine shop tracking, component shop tracking, engine stand tracking, BLE of the future. this is exciting for us in future use cases. And when I started hearing about BLE, I'm like, oh, wow, this is really cool. Like we could start merging these technologies. Like we can have RFID here, we could have Bluetooth here, we could talk together in one system. And this vision of where's my stuff? Having a dashboard where one day I'll be able to say, where's this whatever, and whether it's tracked with BLE or if it's tracked with RFID, it's there. And we're going to be able to see that. And I'm excited about where Descartes takes us in the future of BLE and RFID and down the path. And so this just opens up more and more opportunities for Delta Airlines. So I'm excited about Descartes joining the team and us doing a partnership so we see where we go to the future. A lot of creative minds that work at Delta Airlines that can think of how can Descartes help me and how can Delta partner with Descartes going forward. And so I'm pretty excited about the very near future and the long-term future as well, working with Descartes.